This is the Zen Supermom podcast, and today's episode is for you if you're struggling with bringing your husband or partner on board with no yell parenting. Because you might be already aware, I kind of want to stop yelling at my kids, but you should talk to my husband. He's even worse, and he does not even admit it. I tell him about therapy and stuff because I know it's going all the way back to his childhood, even though he didn't tell me much about it. But he refuses to go anywhere near any therapy or counseling. For him, it's all BS. So please, how can I help him? Let's talk about it. Hi, I'm Elena Gomez Rodriguez, and I'm a mental fitness coach for busy moms. And this is the first podcast to help you increase your stress resistance so that you can become a Zen supermom and simply do it all while staying calm and happy. Welcome to the Zen Supermom podcast. Hi, my name is Elena. I'm your mommy tantrum specialist, and I'm the founder of the Zen Supermom system, where we help moms like you, stressed out, loving, but still yelling at your kids. And we help you stop yelling, set healthy boundaries in calm, so that your kids can grow up feeling loved unconditionally. And often I hear from moms who realize, okay, I could be calmer, I could be less stressed out with my kids, but please, can you also talk to my husband? Do you work with men? And how do I convince him to start getting the help if he does not agree with any of this? Therapy, counseling, getting any help, talking about his feelings and childhood. No, I've already done that. I'm fine. There's nothing wrong with me. The kids just need to listen and do as they are told when I tell them, because that's what respect is. That's my role as a dad. And if they don't, then I hear that a lot. I hear that a lot from women we work with. And where I usually start with them is to realize I can't help your husband. Not if he doesn't want. Nobody can ever push you to change or heal or do anything unless you feel you're ready and you want it, right? It's the same with any addictions. You cannot push, blame, threaten, or bribe anybody into doing anything they don't want to do. They need to feel compelled and positively motivated to do it themselves. Make sense? So this is where I tell all these women, well, let's start working together. Let's help you first. Because what happens is that in the first 2 or 3 weeks, your husband or partner, he's going to notice a change. If you used to be a yelling mom, if you used to be so stressed out that you had really short fuse and you were really snappy at your kids, at him, feeling resentful, blaming him for not helping you, and classic scenario, right? No finger pointing. I'm the first one to point fingers at me. That's what our situation used to be at home. But I get the feedback from all of the clients that we work with inside. Within the first 2-3 weeks, they will notice things are different, and they will make a comment you didn't yell, or wow, this has been a calm weekend, good. Whatever you're doing, keep going. And the interesting thing is, and I can really understand because that's how I used to feel as well at the beginning, many of the women, they don't even tell their husbands what is it that they are doing. If they have their finances separate and they don't need to go and ask for approval to spend money to invest in working with somebody, they usually do it in secret. So they spend their own money, they start working, they start healing their childhood trauma, they start increasing their level of stress resistance, which is what we do in the Zen Supermom system. And so the husbands, they even have no idea, right? But they notice after 2-3 weeks, something is different. What happened? What changed? What are you after? Whatever you're taking, just keep going. It's great to have more of it, more of this calm. So this is usually the first sales point I tell them. if your husband starts seeing what results you can get with your kids, that you can get them to listen, that you can help them calm down in their tantrums, in them saying no to you, in them fighting back and having these power struggles, once your husband will start seeing that whatever you're doing, it's working, they will like whoop, their antennas will come up and they will start catching, like trying to figure it out. Like, what is different? What are you doing differently? How come it's working for you? How come it's still not working for me? Okay, so this is the first very good point. Sell them on your success. The second point is, and this will be a little bit bigger, we have to realize what's going on for them. So once you stop blaming your husband, once you stop feeling like complaining about him, what is it that he's not doing well, and you tune in from that place of love, like there's a reason why you're together, right? Once upon a time, probably you fell in love with each other. That's why you decided it was a great idea to start a family, have some kids, and stay together, right? There's a reason why you love him. Remember, still? If you don't, maybe it's time to brush that up. Like, remind yourself. Throw out all the things you hate. What is it that you love about him still? And then from this place of unconditional love, hopefully, having compassion for him, there's a reason why he might be cut off from his emotions, why he might feel resistant towards going back to his childhood and actually exploring whatever happened there and healing it. What that reason might be. I bet you already have some ideas, right? Maybe you don't know much about your partner's childhood. Maybe you know just like few bits and pieces, but most likely it was not pretty, huh? I talk a lot about the generational trauma we have as women. Okay? The good girl syndrome. Take care of everybody else before you take care of you. Like the people pleaser. You cannot say no. All the girls, we are supposed to behave, do as we are told, when we are told, do everything for everybody else. Don't speak up what you think because nobody cares really. And you should feel those nurturing, empathetic hormones that should be in your nature, right? Because we women, we are nurturers. So you must want to have kids if you feel like you should have never had kids. There's something so wrong with you. All of this conditioning, okay? This is the generational gender trauma, gender beliefs that they drill in us since we were babies. That's what it is for us women. And you, I don't have to explain to you, you get it, right? You feel it yourself in your own life. Now for men, it's different. And you might have seen it growing up even. Like people treat boys in a different way. Don't cry, man up, just brush yourself off. It does not hurt. It was not so bad. Let's continue. It's like emotions, talking about, whining about stuff. That's for sissies or whatever the English expression is. Like, don't be such a girl. So what they are taught and rewarded and punished into is cutting off from their emotions. And I know, it's a super generalization. It's not true for all the men. I'm just talking about the husbands and partners of the women I work with, because how it feels to me is 60, 70, 80% of what I hear, the stories of all of my clients who have a partner, because then there are also a lot of those who are divorced, separated, or solo moms from the beginning. Then it means probably the trauma of the partner was even worse. They were not able to stay in the relationship. But all of those who are in a relationship currently, most of them are complaining. That's the case of their husbands. So then there are two extreme results, two extreme coping mechanisms that they develop to deal with this gender trauma that boys have growing up. One, they either go and become aggressive. Okay? Because they are told, toughen up, dog eat dog. If you don't punch the guy, then he will punch you back and you're going to get beaten up. So how do you stand up to a bully? Punch him. Or like, yeah, protect yourself physically, like muster up this aggression, because that is going to keep you safe, and then you will have to keep your family safe. So you need to be the alpha dog, super strong, physically and mentally, and to be able to stay mentally strong, just push away all that weakness, all these emotions, because that's just going to make you fall down and collapse, and you will not be able to be so strong to protect yourself and your family in this crazy, dangerous world. Okay? So then what they do is that the aggression is one side of that. Another reason also why especially men feel so much aggression is when they were hurt when they were small. Like that's how they were taught to react, fight back. There's the opposite extreme afterwards as well. If they do not become aggressive, then the risk is that they will become chronically depressed and avoidant. Okay. And this is something that I have, like lots of my clients are witnessing as well. When I start shouting at my kids, my husband just leaves the room. He cannot take it. He's a avoider. He cannot handle it. He's like, too much drama for me, I'm out of here. So rather than helping the mom handle the situation, help her with the kids, help calm it down, they disconnect and go, no, too much, you're on your own, bye. Leaves. Okay. And this is, by the way, a consequence. That's the next stage of the aggression stage. Once the boys are taught growing up, it's not okay to be aggressive. It's not okay to attack others. It's not okay to express your anger. You need to behave. You need to be the good boy. If you don't like something, don't yell, don't fight, but just suck it up. And life is not fair. Get used to it. And I don't care that you're hungry, tired, whatever. It's not acceptable that you throw a tantrum in front of your grandparents or in the middle of a shopping mall. Just shut up. Otherwise, I'm going to give you a reason to cry, and then you will see. That's the basis of the trauma for a depression at the later age. Okay? And I'm sharing this from my personal professional experience. So I'm saying that full transparency. I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not an anger specialist or counselor, but this is what I've found out through my trauma research and experience working with the women that we have inside the program. Okay. So I'm just sharing. If you have different beliefs, happy to hear about it. Happy to hear from you. I'm just sharing this from my own personal and professional experience to hopefully give you the map of the territory. Because right now it feels like your husband is making you crazy and you have no idea why. So I'm trying to give you a few points on the map. Maybe you can start paying attention and just see for yourself. Does it fit? Does it make sense for what you see happening with your husband? Okay. And to finish my story with the depression, this is where the depression comes from, because they have suppressed that natural anger. Anger, by the way, anger is a healthy emotion. There's a reason why we are naturally, in some situations, feeling angry, because angry is your natural self-defense. Whenever you feel like all the other tools and methods and whatever ways you had to protect yourself and your boundary, whenever that failed, everything else failed, anger is then the only natural way how to protect yourself. And sometimes it comes up as yelling. That's when it's already too far. But actually the healthy expression of anger is being able to say no and give the signal like, stop here. Okay? I don't want you to continue and get any closer because I'm not comfortable with that. So stop right here. This is my boundary. Okay, that's a healthy expression of anger without blaming the other one for it, without blaming the person. You just show them, well, these are my boundaries. Only if then they don't respect it and they keep pushing, then you're getting even more angry, like to really reinforce the boundary. That's where all of your energy activates in order to, because you need to keep standing behind that boundary that's being pushed from the other side. Okay, that's where the clash happens. But anger on its own is a healthy emotion that's meant to signal to your system, to your body and to your brain, somebody's pushing my boundaries and I don't like it. Okay. Now, if that healthy mechanism got disrupted when you were a kid and when you were told, not okay to feel angry, shut up and listen and suck it up, stop whining, be happy, be grateful, you spoiled brat, you keep asking for more, how ungrateful of you. Then what you're told is, well, the angry part of me, not acceptable, so I have to push it away out of my conscious habits, out of my mind, because when I'm angry, when I show my true emotions, I'm not acceptable, I'm not loved, and I'm punished. So they suppress that part of themselves. This is where depression is being rooted from. That's where it grows from. The fact that you feel like you should be getting angry, there is something that is not okay, but you have to zip it. That's what depression is. Okay. And I see that also with lots of women as well who are getting chronically depressed. There is something. I'm not saying there's nothing else going on. There are lots of other factors, but it usually helps to go back and clean up, heal that moment when you were taught or you were made to believe, you were forced to believe that not all of you is accepted, that there are parts of you who are not worthy of love. And that's the part that gets angry. It's the part that gets whining. It's the part that when you're tired or sad, you want to cry, you need somebody's attention. You need a hug. You're asking for somebody to see you, to hear you. And because there were no adults who had that capability to stay calm, even in the middle of their stress storm, they were not able to do that for you because they were not even able to cater to their feelings and emotions in the moment. Then it gave you a signal. Not okay. Not okay. You're on your own. Sort out your big feelings. I don't care. Just not acceptable. Stop it as soon as possible. Be the happy, obedient child you used to be. And like, go to your room. Go to the naughty chair, whatever punishment. Just come back when you calm down. That's why there's so much aggression, depression in this world, so much mental illness. That's where the disconnect starts at the beginning. And that's what might have happened to your husband as well at some point. Maybe repeatedly. Developmental trauma. Developmental trauma is something that keeps repeating every day. It keeps reinforcing the message. Not okay if you're angry. Not okay if you want to be mad. Not okay if you're feeling weak. If you're feeling like you need mama, you're a boy, man up. It's a repeated message every day, even without yelling. Your parents will not yell at you, but they will keep reminding you. That's what is developmental trauma. That's what it is about. Okay, it's the opposite of the shock. The shock trauma is something happens, super violent, surprising event, blowing your mind with the intensity and impact and the sudden nature of it. That's a shock trauma. On the other side of the trauma spectrum is the developmental trauma. It was happening drip by drip by drip by drip. And if you think back about these memories from your childhood, it will feel like, nothing. It happened to everybody. Like, that's a trauma that my dad yelled at me to stop crying. Like, don't be a wussy. Like, that's not... It's a developmental trauma. Okay. And this is what happened to most of our partners' husbands. Yeah. That's why they are cut off from their emotions. That's why they feel any resistance to go into therapy, because they're thinking like, what? Now I'll have to think about it, like, and go through the mud of all these emotions. That's not what men do. Just give me the rules, give me the science, give me the research, and like some proven methods, 1, 2, 3 that I can do because I've got this. You mean I should be asking help? I should be admitting that I'm weak and stupid enough not to figure it out on my own? Like, no, my ego does not want to hear anything about this. Okay, that's why. Now, why I'm sharing all of this with you? Not so that we become judgmental and we think like, oh, I'm better than you because I'm not afraid to ask for help. Like, no. I'm sharing that with you so that you have maybe more compassion and understanding. Not so that you should become your husband's therapist. Often you are without even having the skills or without wanting to be. Often you do. But let's start, because this is where the first step is for you. If you want to do really anything for your husband or partner, that is the first step. Connect again with that feeling of unconditional love for them. Like, why is it that you're with him in the first place? Why is it that you started this relationship? And realizing how much your love has grown as you went through life together, through some challenges, how it made you stronger. And then having this compassion, knowing where all of this, either aggression or avoidance and depression, is coming from, and why they don't want to get any help. Okay. So the best way how you help them is by practicing actually exactly the same thing that you will be doing with your kids. When your kids have a tantrum, when your kids are experiencing something they have no idea how to handle. And that is by feeling that love and having compassion for them, and you being already healed enough so that you don't have any buttons anybody could push on you, so that when there's a big drama going on with them, you don't join the drama and make it even worse, but you're able to stay calm and centered within yourself enough so that you can help them. You draw them into your peace, into your love. Because the root, spoiler alert, the root of anybody's discomfort, drama, tantrum, be it your kids or your husband, is that initial feeling of, I'm not heard, I'm not loved, there's something I want and I cannot get it, and that's a problem. Like, if you boil down all of the tantrums, all of the conflicts, all of the reasons why somebody's not feeling good in the moment, why they're experiencing negative emotions, it boils down to that. Not feeling loved, not feeling heard, not being seen. Okay? You staying in peace, not being triggered, that drama, not triggering your own wounds and drama, you staying in peace. And you being able to shine out your peace and your compassion, and you being able to let them know, I see you, I hear you, I get it, this is tough. And let me help you. Whenever you're ready, here are my open arms. And you say that literally, or that's what you make them feel through your energy, through your reaction. This is the best way how you can start helping somebody. Okay? And this will be the best way how you let your husband know. Me punishing you for not washing the dishes even though you promised, for not taking care of the broken car even though you promised, me yelling at you because of that, not going to make you feel better, right? And you admit, like, I would have all the right to do that. Me feeling compassion for the part of you who didn't do it, me feeling compassion for you for going overboard with anything, making any kind of mistake, that's the best way for me to help you through that tough situation, right? So why don't we do the same for our kids when they make a mistake, when they are not feeling well, right? This is when they will start connecting the dots, when they will feel how it feels to be loved unconditionally, to be seen and heard. When he feels that you can do that with him, he will start understanding that this is the way, this is the path. Okay. Rather than going on with your judge and like comparing, beating up and nagging, yelling, like out of your own trauma, out of your own pain. But you need to be healed and centered and stable enough so that they cannot take you off balance once they start spinning. Make sense? I'm thinking if there's anything else that was in me that wanted to come out that would help you in this situation. I think this is it. To wrap it up, I would say you cannot help somebody who doesn't want to be helped. And the best way to help somebody is to show yourself. make yourself vulnerable and open with no facade, no faking. Because very often you sharing your own experience and your struggle and showing what is possible makes the other feel safe to show themselves in a vulnerable light without having to pretend they have it all figured out. It will give them the permission to be human when they feel like they are not being judged for their imperfections, right? That's what you kind of feel when you think about yourself. When you make a mistake, you don't want somebody to blame you for it. You don't want somebody to point a finger at you where you're not good enough yet. You want them to love you anyways. This is the best recipe for handling your husband. That's the best I have for you at the moment. So I hope it gave you some food for thought. I will definitely look forward to hearing from you, because I love reading the messages I get from women who are listening to these podcasts. I know it's helping you a lot. And I appreciate you for being open enough and for trusting me enough to even take you to those places that are not always comfortable. Because I know I can very often kick your butt as well. I very often say things that are not easy to hear. For sure, I know if somebody told me some years back, I would be like, what are you saying? I would get defensive. I would get offended. So I appreciate you sticking around and being open to that, doing that with you. Because that's kind of what you got today as well, right? You came here to fix your husband because he's wrong. And what I gave you is actually a way how you can, I don't want to say fix yourself, but what is it that you can do that is within you that requires you changing first, so that would create the most nurturing and most safe environment for your husband to go and start changing himself. So I appreciate you, generational, gender, developmental trauma breaker. You are having a ripple effect. You will be having, and you will start noticing it very soon. What we are doing here is not just rewiring your brain and changing the emotional nervous system map, energy field of your body. Sooner or later, you will start noticing the impacts you're having on the people around you. Things will start changing, not just at your home. So when that happens, let me know, because that's why I do what I do. It gives me the chills every time. So I appreciate you for being on this journey together. Take care.